So the instructions kind of allude that you should mount the engine, and install the engine first, but I've seen people do the baffles first, so I'm thinking it's easier to do the baffles while the engine is off. So that's what I'm doing, and have you start on the right side and basically sourced a couple of pieces, hit them all with the Brillo pad and cleaned them, and these are the first two things. You have coarse threads on here that go in, probably like 1/4-20s, putting these baffle mounts, brackets on the side there. Just a matter of finding all the parts and familiarizing yourself. Fun. All right, that didn't take long for me to be baffled by the baffle, but if you look at the left side of the engine, the rear one that goes over the cylinder, these tabs are clearly bent to the outside with the screw hole bottom right, top left, and the chamfer on the front. But this guy, the screw holes line up, but the tabs are going the wrong way. These bent tabs. This is Kilo Papa Whiskey 0326-1, and they don't fit if you put them on the inside. So, not sure what happened there. Time to research. Thank you, Tony Wall, Project 21, S-21, for your excellent and plentiful documentation. But yeah, those are definitely going outward, and mine are going inward. And my brother, who's a couple of serial numbers after us, has the same issue, so they must have had a run of wrong bends. All right, I put the question out there on Facebook, and I'll send RANS an inquiry and put that on hold. I'm going to do a more fun project, something right up my alley that I can comprehend without reading much of the instructions, and that's modifying the 3-inch hole up to the bigger oil cooler hole. So I know there's plenty of other stuff I can do on here, but I kind of want to do this now. Hole is cut. Look at that hole. Just look at it, would ya? Isn't that the most beautiful hole you've ever seen? Perfect. Alright, this is giving me a headache. That's the bracket that goes there. Nice. The manual calls for this bolt, which is an 8/32 bolt, and this lock washer, which is a 6/32 lock washer that doesn't fit on that 8/32 bolt, but yet the threads in the engine, I couldn't get the bolt in. Clearly seems to be a 10/24 thread, because I can thread this in by hand. So now I checked old manuals, new manuals, and like I said, I'm getting a headache. Alright, quick trip to the local hardware store. Yielded a few 10/24 1/2-inch pan heads, stainless steel, with proper fitting lock washers that actually thread into there. And then the next fabu was these guys, this one, and the one on this side. They all bottom out, so you can't tighten these things very good. So I ended up putting a lock washer, stainless steel lock washer on that too. Head scratching. I'm actually thinking all of these should probably have stainless steel lock washers on them, since there's a good amount of vibration and they're coarse threads. Anyway, so now I'm trying to fit this thing, and I gotta trim this a little bit because I can't get it to fit in all the way. Alright, little update. I got that to fit. I think that's where we left off. Sourced a few more rattly pieces. Sourced all of this contraption back here, and back to the front here. This wasn't quite at the angle that I liked, but again, did some research and I made it so it lines up with that. But none of this really sits right, and here I am, I'm piecing all these little pieces together. Probably not necessary that I go through and clean them all and with a Scotch-Brite pad and then wash them, but looks clean, looks good. That way I know those pieces are done. But I gotta be honest, I think this is like the hokiest setup. I wish somebody would make like a nice carbon fiber clamshell baffle. But I guess this is the way they do it. Until Candid Camera comes out. Alright, well, I made some good progress. Got all of these done and all of these done. And I put them very, very close. I kind of have like a razor blade's edge in there for expansion. I put them all up against, flush against the back, which is pretty much right up against the cylinder head. Cleaned everything, dulled all the edges. Did not rivet them, but it'll be a good project for tomorrow. Good night. Alright, another day, more baffling than the one before. This time it's this piece, and just kind of trying to make sense of how it fits in here. These angles don't quite line up. I don't know if it goes above it or flush. And I think the oddest part is that the left side seems to be about an inch taller than the right side. So once again, Tony Wall's video, thank you very much. He talked about it, and I guess he had his marked from RANS. Now I have no markings and I haven't found anything that I'm supposed to trim it. So I started to kind of go towards the back, sort all the pieces for here and lay this out. But I'm also gonna, maybe this one, if you remember, was bent backwards. I guess I have nothing to lose by trying to rebend it the other way, so I'm going to try that as well. Plus we'll rivet these pieces in, see if I can make any sense out of that, and continue on the back. This side, that side. So I took this piece, put some gentle wood in the vise, and I clamped the angle so they start to straighten out a little bit, so I could get them, so I can flatten them in the vise. Then I took the torch, heated this up as much as I could, thermal paper, and put them in here and flattened it. So now I should be able to put it in my little Harbor Freight bend and maybe heat it again and bend them the other way. Like I said, not that much to lose. If we need to replace it later, we can replace it, but at least this will keep me moving. Look at that. Piece bent the right way now. It's funny, we get all worked up because RANS bent it the wrong way, and how am I going to get a new one, and this is going to hold me up, and where can I get one, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, wait a minute, we're actually building an airplane. I've built bent dozens of pieces of aluminum, and I wouldn't consider this a structural part. So yeah, just make your own. And just to be clear, I'm well aware that that might crack prematurely, but I also think it's a very easy place to replace down the road if need be. And if I can get a new one quickly, I'll put that in. But moving on. So now I'm working on the back side here, and I got those all riveted in with the AVEX rivets. That, if I understand it correctly, goes like that. Then you push this up against the cylinder wall and rivet it. I did cut off, drill the rivet holes, match drilled them, and cut off the piece that kind of looked like a weird angle, just so it looks a little more proper. Kind of trying to pre-bend these things so they go in and out a little easier. This one threw me off for a loop because in the manual it had 3 rivets. This one only has 2. Maybe I should put a third one, I don't know. Anyway, coming out good. So remember early on, or a little bit earlier, when I was questioning that those should be lock washers? So in the old manual, number 20 is a thin washer. Now I just realized in the new manual, number 20 is a lock washer, which is great. Except, oh, let me go find one. Never mind, I did have the right part number. I thought it was this one. So anyway, 935416L. I got those. Quantity is 7. Here, quantity is 4. The head scratching continues. All right, 1 out of 4 done. Put some high temp silicone around the oil cooler inlet, and I'll let that dry, and I'll do the fronts. 2 out of 4 done. This is the right front, the other one was the right rear, and got all the AVEX rivets in here, got these big monster rivets in here, and I did this little trick too that I saw Tony do, and where the safety wire goes through to pull them through. I didn't have stainless rivets, so I just put AAPQ 41s, I think, and pre-bent them a little bit to get them to line up with that. But yeah, real happy with the way that came out. And the spacing I did on these, on the little ones, was basically like 3/8 inch from center, and the big ones are 3/4 inch. Yeah, there you go, in case that's helpful for anybody. I don't know, sometimes you just need to get a good angle on something. So here's all the angles. And to be clear with these little rivet things, so you take the mandrels, I punched the mandrels out, and it kind of probably will help the safety wire with wear and tear when it pulls it through. RANS tells you just to drill a little 40 size hole, so this might make it last a little longer.